I always forget that I need to change that. How is everyone doing today? Boom shakalaka. Oops, a little bit too much space. Hello, hello. I am updating the title of our live tonight. Give me 1 second. There we go. And oops. How is everyone's day doing? Lady Shawnee. That's a cool name. Hi, welcome to live. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the heart me. Okay, that's not going to be a good place. How is everyone doing today? And I don't ask a lot, but I'm asking because I know how I am feeling today. Yesterday, I slammed my knee something hard and I almost fell down the steps and I was in bed. Hey, Danielle. Danielle, I responded to your email. I apologize. I totally missed that. I'd read the email and then in my mind I was like I was going to answer it. And in my head I answered it, but I really didn't. So you have a message now. Oh, you saw it? Okay, cool. All good. If you have any other questions, please let me know. So last night about 7 p.m. I was walking downstairs and then as I was walking downstairs, you know how you turn around to go get something like you forgot? And I did, and I was coming back upstairs and I slammed my knee on the wall. I'll tell her about your live. Okay, cool. And I hit my knee so hard, the entire house shook. Fred and our son came running upstairs. They thought I had fallen down the steps, but I just hit the wall so hard. I mean, I hit it full speed. I'm like, I'm surprised I even had a kneecap anymore. And Fred had to help me into the bed, and I stayed in the bed last night from 7 o'clock until whenever I passed out. And then this morning, got up. Now I had ice on my knee and everything. And then when I got up this morning, feeling pretty good. So, hey, hello. And I thought everything was fine. I went for my regular lunch walk. I am sitting here now with my knee propped up, and I've already taken Oxy because what I don't like is pain. So, I'm not sure how this live is going to go. This may look like Tina was, doing some adult libations. Yay! Thank you. These are so cute. Thank you so much. And thank you, Andrea. And when I tell you guys, I am committed to you in doing this. I am committed to you in doing this. You guys have been on vacation. Hey, Keem, you guys are literally going everywhere I go. When I go to Chicago, hey, Sylvia, you guys are going with me. I am committed to you guys because the one thing I do know that when you are grieving and you're looking forward to something or someone promises something to you and they don't show up, it hurts in a whole different way. And that's the other reason why I don't go live like a lot of days of the week. Because I know a lot of people, they go live like 3, 5, 10. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the capacity to show up for you guys, be prepared, and do things. So I try to make a time. I got some new press-on nails. I don't know if you can see yeah, there you go, the little flowers on those. So press-on nails that I have. Olive and June is the brand. Glue and put them on and pop, they are there. So, you're welcome, Andrea. And so that's why I keep it to once a week, because I want to make sure that, well, not like yours, Sylvia. Sylvia down there, the nail game is strong. And so I want to make sure that I can commit and stay committed to something. So once a week, I know, even if it winds up being a short live, that, thank you. Then I know that I'm doing something that I committed to you guys. Now, for me, hey Patty, anticipatory grief, hey Dance Mom, is a whole thing. Thank you. And when I think of anticipatory grief for me, it's things that I'm anticipating happening. And once it gets in my mind, it's like I cannot turn it off. And Mother's Day is coming up. I know we're just about to hit the cusp of April, but for people and they're dealing with their grief, Mother's Day is huge. Mother's Day is a big thing. And your grief can be impacted by Mother's Day. Broken commit. Yes, exactly, Sylvia. And I'm not trying to be out here with no broken commitments. And I have information here. We'll see if I share it all. But thank you. These are like my favorite. Thank you so much, June. Thank you so much. Those are so cute, right? Like, I feel like I should have like wings and just be like, whoa, some type of Greek person or goddess or something like. Okay, pull it in, Tina, pull it in. So, with the anticipation of Mother's Day coming up, I didn't want to have this conversation in May. I wanted to have it now because a lot of us are already starting to anticipate Mother's Day. What Mother's Day, oh, thank you. What Mother's Day looks like for us, what it looked like for us the first year that our person passed, and what we want future Mother's Day to look like. And that Mother's Day grief impacts everybody differently. And if I miss yours, please forgive me. You may be a child and your mother is no longer here. So you're thinking about what its life looks like now in your mother's absence. And then if you're a mother now, what your Mother's Day looks like in your mother's absence. You may be the widower and your wife is no longer here, and trying to understand or consider how to celebrate Mother's Day for your child. You may be the mother, the wife, and your spouse or partner is no longer here, and they were the one making sure that those little kids gave you something for Mother's Day. And when they're not here to manage that, the grandmother and your first Mother's Day without your mom. Yes, Andrea, those things look differently in life. In the world, you got all, right now you're looking at all of the cards coming up, the flowers, all the advertisement, and it may make you feel that ick in your stomach. And that thing in your throat where you feel like, I don't want to mess up everybody else's holiday because everybody's all something about it. But it could be hitting you kind of hard. And I wanted you to know you are not alone. You are not alone how you feel. And I wanted us to have an open panel conversation about Mother's Day. I want to share some information I have here. If you guys could get me to 5K while I'm sharing this with you, hey Bam, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps the algorithm and bring other people into the room so that that they know what we're talking about and what we're doing. Because the whole idea of doing this is twofold. One, you coming up and us sharing together, it lifts a weight off of you by being able to express in a safe space, a space where you know I don't do Mother's Day, and you are in the right space right now. So if somebody may say something that helps you, may not be, thank you so much that you want to come in, but this is a good conversation because sometimes we'll try to dodge the thing that doesn't do well for us. And you'll notice your body clenching up and you'll notice your body getting all tight. But there's something healing in talking about it and being able to share and know that other people are going through something. Hey, Amber, and it helps you know that you're not alone in this conversation. People may be walking around feeling like everything is fine. My youngest baby, oh, birthday is close to mine. Mine is the 16th. I sometimes wish these holidays didn't exist. I can't, right? Cannot. That right there, Sylvia. Yes. So I want to share some information I have on Mother's Day. Mother's Day can be particularly difficult and triggering time for those grieving the loss of a mother, a child, a maternal figure. And here are some insights on how Mother's Day intersects. Emotional impact of Mother's Day on the bereaved. Many people experience a surge of grief emotions around a Mother's Day, including sadness, longing, loneliness, and even guilt. Anticipatory grief can start days, weeks, or months before the holiday, causing anxiety and avoidance behavior. I'm sorry, I usually go live, but the sounding board is for others, which helps me. Oh, thank you. Statistics on grief and Mother's Day, like who knew? Approximately 9 million mothers in the U.S. have experienced the loss of a child. More than 80% of the people who have lost their mothers say Mother's Day is one of the hardest days of the year. 90% of the grieving individuals report avoiding social gatherings on Mother's Day. Searches for terms like Mother's Day grief, missing mom on Mother's Day significantly spike in early May. Coping strategies. Let's see how good these are for individuals grieving. Acknowledge emotions. It's okay to feel sad, anger, and even relief. Create a personal ritual. Light a candle, write a letter, or visit a special place of remembrance. Connect with others, like we're doing here. Talking to people who understand can help lessen the loneliness. Because loneliness is not about being alone, it's that feeling of disconnection that makes you feel like in a group full of people that no one understands your feelings and you feel by yourself. Hey, Carol, and disconnected. Carol, I want to stitch your video. It's in my head. I saw the thing about healing and I thought that was an amazing topic. Thank you for putting that out there. Give yourself permission to opt out. Avoiding social media or skipping celebrations is perfectly valid. Do something in their honor. Volunteer, donate, engaging in activities they love. What do you guys think about that? Yes to that. Anybody want to? All right, we're at 5K. Good job. Now we can open up the boxes. Anybody like to come up and share their first Mother's Day that they remember where grief and Mother's Day intersected, or how Mother's Day is for you now? I would love for you guys to come up and share. You know I don't like talking to y'all like by myself. Hey, Tawana. And let me tell you, the oxy just kicked in, so if I start slurring my words, this is water. Thank you, Danielle. Okay, since y'all not coming up on your own, this is where y'all get called up. You can choose to ignore me. Okay, Andrea was like, I'm not getting caught. Okay, who else is down here? Oh, Carol's brave. Thank you guys for being brave.
Oh, Andrew's showing us up with the camera and everything.
Okay. I mean, I kind of want to divert to meeting a man in the wild, but I'm not going to do it.
Oh, you saw that.
Oh yeah, we gonna get to that at some point.
Yeah.
If my oxy don't take me totally out, but I'm just saying that I am very interested. So what do you guys think about what I shared so far? Those statistics and that information. Trash, work, no, yes.
It works.
It
I chose why I said my youngest birthday is May 11th because that's Mother's Day this year, I believe.
Oh, it is. I know it's close. It's always kind of iffy the way it falls. Girl,
Yeah.
your hair's looking fire, Bam.
So I really last year was my first Mother's Day without my husband, and I just really try to more so focus on my youngest. And it's funny because my birthday is June 20th, so it coincides with Father's Day. So I always said, like, I never get a day. And then when my youngest was born, I'm like, I still don't get a day. But I'm like, you know, they took my day. But I think it actually is a blessing in disguise. And it was almost like God knew that I needed some kind of distraction. Because my husband really was the blessing and curse of my husband is that he was fantastic on these types of holidays.
Okay.
And so, like, I appreciate it, but I'm like, damn you, I got used to that. And now I don't have it. But my the funny thing is, my grandmother last year made sure I had something, and
Really?
yeah, she gave me a card and signed it for my sons, and gave me
Oh,
some framed pictures and stuff. And it was just a simple little thing, but
right.
it meant the world to me. So I mean, but it's yeah. But damn, my husband making
Oh
me
my gosh.
that.
Yeah, damn him for doing that. But you have little ones, so it's a whole thing when you have itty bitties, and you want to tell them, "Oh, thank you for the burnt toast that you gave me for Mother's Day." But deep down inside, it's like I need somebody to make this level this up for them. I need someone that knows that this I deserve more, and
Yeah.
it's like you're not going to be less of a mother because of it. But it's just like another sucker punch of grief.
Yeah. Well, and that's my husband, even because his ex-wife and him did not get along whatsoever. But
Okay.
sorry, my son's awake. He's stimming. But he made sure every year he had something for his mother, because he said, I never want my son to go without having a present for his mother on Mother's Day. Well, that and
Okay.
Christmas and all that other stuff, but so.
Wow. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Danielle. Andrea, my twice with a laugh.
Hi. Yeah, so um my first Mother's Day after Brian passed, just like Danielle said, Brian was a super thoughtful, like, gift giver and always made events special. So, and I live geographically separated from my family also. And compound that with my daughter is an adult, and she is a
Full
I'm like,
time
what am I
worker.
hearing?
You work full time.
Yeah. She works weekends and holidays. So usually, like, so my first Mother's Day without my husband, she was an adult, and we celebrated it like on a different day, which was fine
Oh,
because then I was able to spend Mother's Day with my mom.
okay.
They live in different places. My first Mother's Day after Gary died, he died in March, and so my first Mother's Day was like a couple months later, and my
Right.
daughter was young, and yeah, someone needs to mute. I don't know who it is.
I got it.
um, so yeah, after Gary passed, and she was young, and I was like I'm not gonna have holidays like done for me. Like, she doesn't even have a job. She's 13. So he Brian, who I was not dating at the time, he was just a friend at that time. He actually took my daughter to get me a card and then put a $50 check in it. Like, that's what he thought a Mother's Day gift should be. It was a check. But I had to approve of the
Teaching.
gesture and the thoughtfulness, I suppose. But over the years, he just got a lot better at holidays. Now, this year is going to be my first Mother's Day without my mom, and my
Mm.
mom and my daughter's first Mother's Day as a mom. So I'm going to try to spend it up in Chicago with her if I can. But she'll have to work that day. And I'm hoping my dad lives in Indianapolis, and he's obviously it's I shouldn't say obviously, but my parents were together for 54 years, or married for 54 years, together for 56 years. And I am being brought back to that acute, immediate stage of widowhood by watching my dad go through it.
Mm.
And it's so painful to watch. And I mean, as you know, there's just very little you can do except just be present and just care, listen and validate as much as you can. But I worry about him on big days like that. So I hope that he is able to come to Chicago and also spend it with my daughter and me. Uh, but I want to. It's a fine line, because if it was just me, I would probably say, let's just ignore it. Like my daughter and I would, talk on FaceTime or have a nice text or, send each other flowers or whatever and just kind of ignore it and go on. But because, it's her first Mother's Day with her son, and it's our first without, and she was very close to her grandma, my mom, like they were besties, and she's besties with my dad too, like they're very close grandparent relationship. I feel like this line between, of course I want to celebrate my daughter, but there's also like, I'm sad without my husband, my dad is sad without my mom, I'm sad without my mom, she's sad without her grandma, and all of those emotions just very, very makes it kind of that I'm not looking forward to it, but yet I am, like, she deserves to be celebrated, it's really hard. It's really hard.
It is because, and thank you for sharing that. The all of those happening together, like, and then it's like you kind of want to be selfish about your own pain, but you still got to take care of everybody else.
That's right.
And grief is constantly like that. It's like we're in our emotions, and then it's that hood around us and how that's impacted. And I had a conversation with someone who lost their mom at 36, and people had the audacity to tell her, "Well, you should be okay. You were an adult when your mom passed," or you see all that, and it's like, have you never had anything that impacts you to make you just have a 30-second filter before you open your mouth?
Yeah, and for me, I mean, first of all, don't shit on me, I won't shit on you, right? But for me, losing my mom, as hard as it's been, my primary focus is my dad and my daughter. To
Mm,
me, it, as hard as it's been, it does not compare to losing my husband, because my mom did not live in my house with me, did
correct.
not parent with me, did not pay bills with me, did not sleep in my bed at night, did not go on vacation with me every day. Like, it's been many, many years since, I was, my dad is the primary relationship to my mom, not me. I'm,
Right.
you know, and I know that's not true of everyone. I know but one of the things I will say about losing my mom that's been really hard is that the person who would be comforting me, the person who would have my back and would be there for me, is not here anymore.
Mm. In the midst of losing your husband, your mom that would support you is
And
not.
vice versa.
And those secondary and thirdary losses and other different things are just related. And it's like you just don't see them all up front until they happen sometimes. And yes, your daughter, it's like any other time, be like, it's my daughter's first Mother's Day, and it's
Right.
like full on like celebration. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, so
It's
does she get
complicated,
here?
and I know I'm not the only one here who feels complicated about that. So, yeah, thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you, Carol. Are you one? And girl, you do not have to turn on your camera. I'm proud of you for coming up here.
Yeah, I, I got to tell you something. What happened to me last night?
Thank you.
You're not going to believe this. I did a video today. I was on a live last night, and never in a million years did I ever expect this to happen. Somebody took my late husband's profile picture. Yeah, and was commenting. Yes. Hmm. I was beyond shocked, unbelief. It was like seeing a ghost.
Do you think this was intentional? Or they randomly, or like,
It was a different name, but I don't. I don't know for sure if it was intentional. If it was intentional, I kind of know who it was. But yeah.
Hold on one second. The 9 people can be up here, Andrea. It's not a problem. That is just, I have no words. How did, okay, what did you do?
Well, okay, so in the live, apparently my eyes, my face said it all because they were
Yes.
like, "Oh, she knows him." I'm like, that was my late husband's photo, but that's not his name. And he was never on TikTok.
Wow.
It
Did
was
they block
Kurt.
the
Yeah, my
person?
late husband Kurt.
Okay. And okay, and so what happens next, Carol? Like, I don't even know where we go from there. Like,
I, I will like tell you about my first, but I just had to share that. It was like I was
girl,
seeing a ghost.
absolutely. Hey, Manuel, that, thank you for the gifts. That,
Yeah.
okay, okay. I know, right? That is cruel. Talk, right? Talk about complicated. Yeah, that.
Complicated it was. And
Oh my
I was not really like some people commented like I would have been angry. I was in shock.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it was just total shock. Yeah, exactly. No words. I just was like my mouth dropped open and was like, wow.
Mm. Okay, hard pivot. Your first Mother's Day. Like, there's no answer for that.
Well,
Now, Carol, you've got, and let me say this. You can answer that as broad as you want because I know you are coming up on Mother's Day, which has a different impact. So you're more than welcome to share from any perspective of your Mother's Day and where grief intersects. You're open to share all those if you like.
yeah, I have really, yeah, because mine's so complex. I think for me, like Tom, my third husband, and to those who don't know, I'm a widow twice. So with Tom, he always made it special. And these were not my kids' dad, but he always got me something, and it was always with the kids, and just, he always made it special. And then after I lost Tom, 5 years later, I lost my mom in 2015.
Mm.
And I'm an only child. So, and I lost her right before Thanksgiving. It was like November 6th when I lost her. So, um, that was hard because when I lost Kurt, my last husband, I didn't have my mom.
Just like what Andrea was talking about.
Yeah, and so when you don't have that person, it's like you're lost.
Mm.
And then, Kurt, I had to give him. He had no idea. Well, you're not my mom. I'm like, no, but I am raising your children. And to me, he never got his ex anything for Mother's Day. And it's like, what? And he's like, well, she's not my mother. No, but she's the mother of your children.
Right.
And so I finally got him where he bought me usually potted plants because he knew I love plants.
Okay.
And so I trained him.
I was saying you taught him well. Yes.
I taught him well. I did. And so when I lost my son last year was just a week before Mother's Day.
Oh, really?
He,
Okay.
he passed away May 3rd. And so that was just before Mother's Day. I
Mm.
don't remember nothing. I do not. When you were asking that, I'm like, I don't remember Mother's Day last year.
That's fair. The grief brain was strong. The
Mm-hmm.
fog all over the place.
Yep.
What do you and thank you for sharing that. What do you think Mother's Day will look like for you this year, Carol?
Um, I don't know.
That's
Because
fair.
my daughter and I are not as close as I'd like it. You know, as a relationship.
Uh-huh.
Um, and like I said, I don't last year. Like I said, it was. I don't remember last year at all.
That's fair. It's a fall. It's a fall. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing all of that. And it is amazing. And I know we can't stand the word. I'm trying to say this without saying the words that we don't like. You inspire me to know that life keeps living because you have gone through a lot. And I'm not saying like you're always walking around with sunshine and rainbows, but the reality that you do keep this positive mindset and trying to keep going. And I honor you for that.
Thank you. I yeah. I get down,
Mm-hmm.
but I just learn to. I just can't stay in that you know
Right?
in
That's so
that pain.
cute. I feel like a Greek goddess. I'm like, dun, dun, dun. I might start. Go ahead.
It did look like you were a Greek goddess.
Right. I need to
And
ask. It would be better, but go ahead. I diverse.
that's okay. But I just try to think of the good things, and I just really, and I'm just so happy that I have, like, God is very important in my life, and I
Mm.
think without Him, I would not be here.
Mm.
That has really inspired me the most, is
Okay.
that I put God first in my life.
Okay. I want to come back to that. I want to give Bam and Tawana a chance to
Yeah.
share, but I want to come back. Remind me. I want to come back to you about God in your life and your grief. Okay.
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 Yeah.
If you can go on mute, because sometimes we get, and then, hey Bam, this is your first time like being
This
up
is
here.
my first time, Miss Tina. Thank you for
Hello.
having me up.
Absolutely.
I can't I don't share the widow part, but you were talking about Mother's Day, and
Yes.
that's it hurts. It hurts. I'm 56 years old. I lost my mother back in my birth mother back in
Okay.
2017, and when I tell you that hurt never goes away, and it's because I didn't know her. I
Okay.
didn't know her. So my father took me away from my mother when I was
Mm.
little, me and my brother. So we weren't raised with our mother. And because of my stepmother, I came to know my mother a week before my 18th birthday.
Oh
But I
wow.
know people here in these TikTok streets more than I did my birth mother. And when she took ill, I went home to be with my brother and my sister to support them.
Right.
Uh, but every time that we talked, she used to talk about, I've got my bags packed and I'm ready to go whenever he calls me home. And she said, and I want you to have my Bible. And I've told this story before over on my platform. And I've longed to have that Bible, but my sister, who was raised by my mother, was never able and still isn't able to give it up.
Mm.
And I feel there are so many unanswered questions in there for me. She tried to
Okay.
give me another one, but that's not the one that our mother wanted me to have. So I struggle with Mother's Day really hard. I've got a wonderful son who's 31, and he's blessed me with a beautiful 6-year-old granddaughter. And they're my life, but because of the pain that I feel for Mother's Day,
Yes.
I don't celebrate it.
Mm.
But I I try to suck it up, and I come on here for the past 2 years. I've come on here and opened up my box for those that have lost their mothers, for those who are grieving their mothers, and ask them to share, stories about them and their mamas,
Yes.
forgetting all my pain and listening to their happy stories, their joyful moments. It just gives me a satisfaction that only God can give. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So thank you for allowing me to share.
Absolutely.
And I pray for each and every one of y'all. Listen, I can't even begin to imagine, but thank you for sharing your stories and your love and your heart.
And thank you for that. And I want to share. So I have a nonprofit called Widowhood Real Talk with Tina. I am from Chicago. The word hood to me means family. So it's not just about the widow, because when my husband passed, my children's dad left this world. When my husband passed, his brothers lost a sibling. When my husband passed, my siblings lost their brother-in-law that was like an uncle, because when I married my husband, my siblings were small and it was like uncle brother-in-law mark thing going on. So that's the important part to me, intentionally, to make sure that it's never just about the widow, because she needs the community, or he needs the community. Because the other thing that will happen, that other people won't talk about their grief around the widow, which or widower, which makes them feel like they're all alone. But somebody else is missing that relationship with that other person, and being able to everybody share how they're missing that person helps everybody. Andrea said all grief is the same and all grief is different. And so it's intentional for me to try to bring everybody into the conversation, because, hey, Bonnie, I didn't see you sneak in, girl, because we're all missing maybe the same person from different perspectives, and we learn something from each other. So you and people are always welcome here. I don't have I'm not trying to hoard it. It just happens that my spouse died, so that's the perspective from when I'm from. But my children have both done a podcast with me where they talk about losing their dad. And the conversations I have on my podcast are grief centric or healing. And there's nothing, one of the best ways of healing is sharing, and just like you're allowing people. Now, is that always, or is that Mother's Day? What does that look like, and how can we come over there and when you're doing that on your platform?
I do it. I do it periodically. I do periodic check-ins to see how people's hearts are doing and how they're feeling. I was a teaching parent at a group home a few years back, and one of the things that I used to do with my girls was I'd give them an opportunity, because we bottle so much up.
Yes.
And they would be so angry. They're in situations anyway, but they'd be so angry that I would tell them, listen, I'm going to give you my right shoulder to punch one time. You can yell, you can scream, you can cuss, you can get it out of you. However you get it out, just get it out, because that pain that you keep taking and taking and taking, it will unalive you. And I'm
Yes.
proof of that. Tomorrow's my 5th heart anniversary. But I do come on here periodically, and I want people to use me as a sounding board. If you can reach my arm from the internet streets, I give it to you so that you can punch me if that's going to make you feel better. But sometimes we just need somewhere to go,
Yes.
somewhere to be able to get it out, where we're not being judged, where we're not being talked about. Listen, baby, get it out. However you need to get it out, don't hold it in. So I'll usually come in and just when you see the light on, come on over.
Okay, please share with me. I definitely want to come and
Yes,
support. Thank
yes.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Oh, thank you. Tawana. So if y'all don't know, Tawana is always the one putting me on lockdown and making sure I stay off of TT or social media when I shouldn't be on. Don't always like Tawana, but I do love her. And Tawana just had a birthday recently, so we can tell her happy belated birthday. Oh, she gonna come off a camera looking at me all strong. I ain't scared of you. Yes, I am though, but go ahead. You're on mute. Hold on.
Hello, everybody. Um, yeah, I'm Tawana Proctor Robinson, and my husband Victor passed January 27th of 2022 of a fentanyl and cocaine overdose. And yeah, I did an interview with Miss Tina the year after his passing. It's on YouTube, so a lot has changed since then. But yeah, I have had a lot of people that I love pass, but like someone else said, by far, the passing of my husband has been the most traumatic because, like you all say, my husband lived with me. He was with me every day for 18 years. So
It's hard to hear you. I think there's TV in the background.
yeah, I'm sorry, my mom. Let me see how much battery I got. See if I can
Okay.
go in another room.
Right. And I want to be able to hear you. Thank you.
Um, so yes, yeah, I take care of my mom now, so that's why the TV is on because I'm in the room with her. Let me go back here.
Sorry, I just want to be able to hear you, and it was hard.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, but I was saying, a lot of people don't like to talk about the fentanyl situation and our loved ones passing from fentanyl overdoses. And my inspiration, you never believe, was 11-year-old DMX's daughter, Sonova.
Yes.
Yeah, she spoke openly about, her father's passing and advocated, for families of people who had passed from fentanyl and drug overdoses. So I'm looking like if this 11-year-old baby can talk about, her dad and him passing of fentanyl overdose, then I can too. So that's why I reached out to Tina and told her, that I wanted to do an interview because a lot of people don't talk about it. There's kind of like a stigma and a shame to it. And if I'm being honest, I was kind of ashamed at first and
Okay.
felt bad because of the way my husband passed. So, yes, having said all that, but to what Tina's saying about me bullying her, yeah, I have to get on her because I know that being a grief support advocate is taxing. There's so many of us in this world who needs support and that needs a community of people who understand what we're going through. Because a lot of people, if they've never been through the passing of a loved one or a spouse, they don't understand. They can't relate. And even people that have passing of loved ones. Like I said, I've had many loved ones pass. I've had to, um, prepare people, make arrangements for funerals, all kinds of things. But when my husband passed, it was on another level. Yeah, so and in our interview, I want to publicly give Tina her flowers. I thank her for the way she gracefully interviewed me and talked more about his life than accentuating, his passing and the fentanyl abuse, and because I didn't know anything about that, and I would never know if it was something he did willingly or if someone put it in his cocaine and he didn't know it. So only God knows. But yeah, I just want to thank you, Tina, for interviewing me the way that you did about Victor's life more than about his passing. So, and every one of my family and friends who commented to me about it afterward, that was the first thing they said was, wow, she accentuated his life, more, and asked you more questions about his life, which was very, very good for me, and it helped me to kind of recall a lot, even though I didn't forget, but going through your grief and being just 1 year in. Matter of fact, was I quite a year in? Yeah, I don't know if I was a whole year in or not, but it may have been closer
I
to
thought we were like
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to think about it, but yeah, but even then, I was still, I hadn't fully processed my grief. I wasn't able to just sit back and, think about it and, go through the grief because I was continually taking care of other people
Right.
and not taking care of myself. And if you see me in the interview, you see my head was, covered and stuff. I didn't have time to take care of myself at that time. But thank God for my therapist. She helps me to and gives me tools that I can use, to implement self-care, even in the midst of being a 24-hour caregiver for my mother, who is unable to walk at all, and has been bedbound for a year now. So, yeah, so therapy is good. I know a lot of people say, I don't want to talk to nobody. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little time to find the right person, because everybody is not gonna, you know, um, be compatible with you,
Uh-huh.
as a therapist. But I love my therapist. I give her hugs all the time. I know she think I'm crazy, but yeah, she is just the goat to me. She's in her 40s. She's African American, and we just have a conversation like, old friends, because she'll tell me things. I tell her things. It's not like a one-way street. She asked me what I wanted out the gate, and I told her, I said, I don't want you to just sit and take notes and listen. I said, I want you to engage with me, talk with me, us have a conversation. And not, I didn't mean for her necessarily to tell me her business, but she do. And even when we do our little meditation, it was so funny. The first time we did I did a meditation with her, and just to be still for 10 minutes or so, because that's something I don't do too often. And I looked up, I opened my eyes, just peeked, and she had her head thrown back during the meditation too. I started cracking up. I said, Lord have mercy. She needed just as much as I did. So, it was just good. And like I say, you just have to find someone that you're compatible with. Don't
Right.
give up. Because before I left Indianapolis, Indiana, I had tried several grief support groups and traveled and took off of work early and all kind of stuff, and the
Yeah.
groups were canceled or something happened. I was like, wow. And then when I came home back here to Gary, Indiana, that's when I found that my therapist now. And like I said, it was worth, because I could have gave up and said, no, I'm not going to go through that anymore. But it's worth it once you find your person. So
I
that's
would
all I
agree.
got to say.
Can I ask you a question, Tawana?
Anything, you know me.
Your mother being bedridden
Hmm.
and you being her full-time caregiver,
Hmm.
how does your grief show up in that? Like your mom inability to like somebody was mentioning the relationship that didn't get to be had. And how is your grief showing up in that relationship with your mom now?
Do you mean as far as the fact that we had a tumultuous relationship when I was a child and
Oh,
being back here with her?
I
It
was
was
not going to
traumatic.
mention that, but if you want to, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
that was something I was not bring, but I was thinking about your mom's immobility. But however you want to answer that, thank you.
So yeah, so when I first got back here, it was traumatic, and I did not realize that it would be that way. All the things that I had experienced with her, the negative things of physical and emotional and mental abuse, it surfaced, and I felt like that little girl back in that space again. But as far as me being able to grieve in that space, I really couldn't. Um, but once I was going through both at the same time, and it was crazy. It was like a roller coaster of emotions that I was going through. Um, but yeah, going through that vicious cycle, it was a lot to deal with. It really was. But now, things they're getting better as far as my mom and our relationship. She's being more patient and more understanding. She's not as, for lack of a better word, manipulative, and she's not like giving me a hard time like she was before. Because
Wow.
every time I would leave, because I only leave really on Tuesdays for like 5 or 6 hours, and then Wednesdays for like an hour and 45 minutes when her aide is here, her other aide. Um, but she would just give me a hard time right before I would leave. Any way she could delay me, um, uh, tell me I can't drive, all kind of things. Cause I had to jump my car before I left Indianapolis. That's another long story, but yeah. So now I'm without a car other than her car. She can't drive it, but I respect the fact that it's hers. I can't do nothing else, but you would think I'm taking care of her 24 hours, and just to give me some air and a break, that it wouldn't be a problem. But like I said, she's getting better, so she don't give me any problems anymore as far as that's concerned.
That has
And
come a long ways then.
yeah, and she's starting to eat more and just thriving. So I always tell her, I say, you'll probably outlive me. Cause she's just 16 years older than me. I said, you just my big sister. So you like my big sister because you're just 16 years older than me. She was 16 when she had me. So yeah,
Okay.
so things are, looking up on that end. And I have my other struggles and challenges that I go through. But as far as the grief is concerned, the grief has gotten better. I'm a lot more, I would say, stable in my grief, and of course it has ebbs and flows, and it can hit at any time, and it still happens from time to time, but it's not like as an emotional roller coaster as it used to be. I think what helps that too is my current friendship with a close friend. Don't be looking making faces, but yeah, that helps too.
Just a
Um,
little bit.
it helps a lot. It helps a lot. So, yep. And yeah, I just turned 53 March 18th. So, I thank God for that. A couple years ago, I didn't want to live. I'm just, if I'm being honest, I was angry with Victor for leaving me. um,
But it took you quite a while to get to the angry part,
yeah, it did. It
to
took me a couple
articulate
years
that.
because I never thought I would feel that way. But one
Right.
day, out of the blue, I just started bawling and I just got angry and I started hollering and screaming at him, like, "Why did you leave me?" And this is terrible. I'm by myself. You said God told you to protect me, and how did you leave me here? It's horrible, and I'm going through so many changes and problems, and I need you, and you're not here. And so we were supposed to, our goal was to be together, be married 50 years or more. So I'm like, no, why?
Mm.
Why? So, yeah, I didn't expect to go through that emotion. I didn't think that I would. Um, I'm the most forgiving person, more than I should be. Um, yeah, but I forgave him, but at that point, I mean, I was just really, really angry and thinking about myself. So, for once, because I'm notorious for putting everyone else before myself. And so that's why the month of March, I'm celebrating my birthday the whole month. I give everybody else the 11 months. I can have one to myself. So, yeah. Thank you, Carol. Yeah.
Thanks, Tawana. I want
Yeah.
to share my first Mother's Day, as far as grief is related. My husband Mark passed March 11th, 2017. And the big thing for us was we used to call it the Cornwall trifecta. In the month of May was Mother's Day, it was my birthday, and then it was our wedding anniversary. So the second week ish of May is Mother's Day. And then after that was my birthday. And we weren't so smart. We got married the day after my birthday. Like that seemed really cute in your 20s. The long game, we were not thinking about it at all. And so when my husband passed in March, it was a big blur. And then on top of it, both of my children, our son told us that he was going into the military. What we didn't know was that when he went to enlist, my daughter went with him and they were enlisting together. Now, my husband and I have both served in the Army. I don't fault them for being in the Navy. It hurts just a little bit, but we've gotten over it. But I was not prepared, hey, R. Torres, for the reality that she was going to now. They came home and told us that she drove him and took him to the MEP station to enlist. And so then they come back and they show us a video of them standing together taking an oath. And we like, what is this about? Well, she now lands it that I'm going into the Navy and they were doing like this buddy system thing. And we were excited because, like I said, my husband and I both were in the military. My daughter left to go into the military on Mother's Day. So I drove 3 hours to where she was going with a family friend and drove home. I can't remember. Speaking of brain fog, like I don't know how I got there. I think he drove us there, and then he and I drove back. And I have no clue. I think we stopped to get something to eat, and it was just a blur. And I remember going home to the house now that was empty because my son went back to the like his dad passed in March. Alex was home for like about a week and then he went back on base. So then Catherine, my daughter, had been home with me. Now Mother's Day, she leaves and this is my first time being in this house by myself to the reality. It went from November 2016 4 people in this house, everything hustling, bustling the way we're accustomed to. November, my son left to go to the military. March, Mark passed. May, Catherine left to go to the military. And I was home alone. And it was so loud, the quietness in the house. And it was like, wow, where do we go from here? What does this look like? Because this was not my plan at all. And going back to what Tawana was saying, I am about a therapist. I am about having somebody else that can help navigate uncharted territory that goes on between these two ears, because I'm not that professional. I need help. And I'm so glad that I leaned into that. But it is hard. It is hard navigating life after the person we love is not here. Whether how they helped Mother's Day look, or they were your mother. My mom lives next door with my sister. But at the time when my husband passed, both of my parents were alive. And I remember going, what in the is going on here that my parents are here and my husband is deceased. Life doesn't have an order that we think it's going to have. And it is so important to have community. And I'm just so glad for every one of you that show up or share or comment or just be part of the conversation. It's very liberating and it's very freeing. And it's important to have that. 10,000. Y'all, somebody fingers numb. Y'all tapping like ain't no business. The one thing about doing this is I'm drinking this water and the water gotta do what the water gotta do. Mama Boom's gonna take it for a moment. I'll be right back.
Hey guys, how's everybody? I've enjoyed listening to everybody's testimonies today. It's really been helpful. Myself, I've lost a son. He didn't live long enough to for me to experience a Mother's Day or anything. But that's not what I came up here to even say or do. I came up here because I wanted to let everybody know that, Miss Tina is really gracious, and she really pours out everything that she has into us and making sure that we're all okay. And, we can just do a small gesture by, joining her little family, by being a subscriber. Because all of that, everything that we do, all the gifts, the subscriber funds, anything goes to the Widowhood Foundation. So it's a big help to her and the foundation, because Miss Tina doesn't keep keep any of her. She either recycles the coins or she distributes it to helping to get flyers and books and different things that different widow need, in their time of need. So anybody that can subscribe, please hit the store at the top or the bottom and become a subscriber, become a part of the Widowhood family. Um, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. And the more we tap and the more that we like the live, the more it gets her out here. Thank you, Bam. It gets her out there on the algorithm that helps to bring in more people into the live. So, while we're sitting and conversating and listening to each other, it's a great thing if we can just, tap along the way. So I just wanted to share those things with you all because I just feel like, she pours out everything, and she doesn't hold back. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know how she does it in the course of a day, because I know she speaks to many of you guys on a daily basis. Hey, Rochelle. And I know I talk to Miss Tina at least twice a day, most days.
So I don't know how she finds the time to do all that she does. But anybody that can pour out like that, then we should be able to give the support back, you know. So thank y'all. Commercial break
Thank,
over.
but thank you, Mama Boom, for making me ask and share because I'm horrible at that. Um,
But that's what you got me for.
yes, it is, and but I want, if you're willing, to talk about your intersection with Mother's Day and grief, if you're so willing.
Okay. Well, like I told them when I first came up, I don't, my son did not live long enough to for me to encounter a Mother's Day with him. However, I do think about him every Mother's Day. Well, I think about him 24/7, but Mother's Day is particularly thought of because I think of all my children, and I always wonder, well, what would he be like? How would he be right now? What would he look like? I'm constantly thinking of that, and but my girls, they're so supportive, and we never let, even though my son passed, almost, it'll be 40 years this year. He would be 40 years old, but they're planning his 40th birthday celebration. Every year we celebrate him. I mean, we've not let him be alive in our hearts. We constantly talk about him. Um, so it's like he's still very much a part of us, even though it's been this many years, and even though my daughters were only 3 and 4 at the time that he passed. It's really, well, they weren't even 3 and 4. They were 2 and 3.
Mm,
Um, they were 2 and 3, but for them to have this kind of love toward their brother that never even made it home from the hospital, it that warms my heart within itself, because it's not just me, it's them spearheading, most of the things. They orchestrate us going to the cemetery. We're gonna do a balloon release this year for his birthday. We're gonna get a cake. We get a cake, and or we'll do a family dinner, and we will still talk about them, and the only thing that gets to me is like if my mom or somebody um decides, when they doing a count on her grandchildren, or my sisters are doing a niece and nephew count, and they leave my baby out. And I'm
mm,
like, now that makes me really, really sad, and I get really, really, really angry. But I just politely correct them, and let them know, hey, no, you one short, because my son lived. He had a name. He was a whole person, he cried. He did all of those things, and I miss him dearly, But it's like I tell anybody, he saved my life because he kept me on the straight and narrow of wanting to see him again. Because as the Bible says, all babies go to heaven.
mm.
So it changed my life and my trajectory, and made sure that I stay making sure that I'm gonna see him again. So,
Right.
but yep, that's my story.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Uh,
very welcome.
thank you. Lady Sunshine? No, I'm not saying that right. Lady Shawnee? Okay,
No,
girl, come off
sunshine.
mute.
Hi, Miss Tina. How are you?
Good
First,
Oh,
yourself.
I'm doing good. I want to say thank you. I was scrolling through the other night, and you and the panel were a true blessing. So,
oh,
I was very appreciative of that. My first Mother's Day without my son was horrible. I stayed in bed all day.
As you
That
should.
particular day, I didn't feel like I had anything left. My son passed in October of 23.
Okay.
So I had the first Thanksgiving, then I had the first Christmas, then my birthday was in January, and then there it was, his birthday and Mother's Day. So I really didn't have anything left. Um, I felt really bad because I do have another child and I'm a grandmother of two, which are my son's daughters, but I just didn't have anything for myself, much less them.
Right.
So I didn't spend time with my mom. I didn't spend time with the girls. My daughter pretty much stayed in her room because she was grieving as well. But it was bad. And I still try to find a balance of how to be normal.
Mm.
But I basically go through the motions. So that's a little bit about my first Mother's Day.
Thank you for being willing to share that. Thank you so much. And it sounded about right to me. I mean, I don't know anybody in their grief journey that was out here taking baths and showers. Like that was extra. That wasn't something we had a luxury of doing at all. So you guys did the best you could to make it through. And would you mind sharing how that looks for you now? And if it's the same, that's fine too, because this thing changes as we go along.
How it looks for me now. I will say, prayer has helped me a lot.
Okay.
I am currently doing therapy, which also helps a lot, but I'm still 15 months later, in all honesty, on autopilot. I will say I have partially taken off my cape because my thing was, take care of my grandchildren, make sure my daughter's good, make sure my mom is good, make sure that my staff at work is good. It was about everyone else but me. So I decided for the beginning of this year, I'm going to take baby steps and
Okay.
go back into my self-care. Focus a little bit more than me because everyone is doing a lot better than they were 15 months ago. But I'm the one that never honestly grieved. My son passed that Sunday, believe it or not, and I've been told I'm crazy. I was at work that Monday morning. Um, I planned everything while I was working. Up until this day, I have not taken any time off as of yet.
You mind if I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me say this. I don't think it's crazy. And I'm not saying that to gas you up. That sounds like survival. It sounds like if I'm a moving target and I keep going, I won't fall apart. And it sounds as if a lot of people are counting on you to hold a lot of things together. And you probably don't have the time to fall apart or to give into that. But what was the catalyst or the turning point for you this year to say, I'm going to start focusing on me?
I just took a good look at the past year and I was very isolated. I was very withdrawn.
Okay.
If I didn't have to do it, I pretty much did it. I only did the things that I absolutely had to do. And I found myself falling into a hole, like a dark space, and I didn't like it. So, again, prayer and therapy, I'm like, okay, I know this is not going to happen overnight, but I have to put forth some type of effort to where I have to slowly drag myself out. And every day isn't easy. I still have days where I'm like, whatever, I'm not doing it, don't care, don't want to hear about it, leave me alone.
Right.
But for the most part, at least I'm better than I was last year because I'm more motivated to try.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that is important. I'm happy for you finding that out for yourself.
Thank you.
And
But
it is a choice. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, Miss Dina.
No, and this thing has no timeline. This thing has no place where you say, this I'm going to do. It gets to a point, like you said, you wanted something different. And when you wanted something different, you start searching out for it. So that's good. That
Yep.
is really
Well,
good. I'm sorry, go ahead, man. Oh,
no, go
how do you say
ahead.
your name? What is it? Lady Sunshine, or how do you, what is your screen name there?
Lady Shawnee.
Lady Shawnee. Okay, that was it. Okay. Okay, cool. I used to live in Shawnee in the Poconos, so it made me think of that when I saw that.
Okay. Yeah. But I just wanted to share a little bit. My first time being on a live, being in a box.
Oh, thank
Um, so I'm actually shocked in myself that I even requested to come up on the panel. But
you.
thank you, ladies. Thank you, Miss Tina. I will keep coming on the live because so far you're being very helpful. So thank you.
Oh, that is my goal. That is my goal. And yep, as Andrea said, we're glad you're here. I generally go live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. um, a couple of other different things. So I have a nonprofit. I think Mama Boom talked about that. Widowhood Real Talk with Tina, which is a registered 501c3 nonprofit. If you go to my bio, it will take you to our website. And we have a podcast every week that we put out on different topics as it relates to grief and encouraging information. And generally, the majority of my content is supporting people who are grieving and from different perspectives. So I am glad that you're finding it helpful. And the people that are in this room, I've connected with them offline, and they are real people and on a journey and willing to share. And I have found to be a safe space for me too, that I connect with them on and off this app.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. I want to share some other statistical information. Thank you, Bonnie, about Mother's Day. Why am I looking for my glasses? Here they are. So sometimes it's about the money with something. So I wanted to share some other things that I found out. And then I'm going to come back to you, Carol. I did not forget. Spending and the economic impact. In 2023, Americans spent over 35.7 billion, the billion, on Mother's Day gifts, which was up from 31 billion the year before. The average consumer spends around $274 on gifts and celebration. I have never. Well, I'm sorry. One time, all of my siblings and I got together and got my mom a necklace from Pandora. Have you guys? Do y'all spend $274 on Mother's Day? I need to know. Like who has? Maybe I'm missing it. Yes? No?
Yeah, I've spent some money, most of it going out to eat though.
Okay, the
So
meal. The
yeah,
meal.
so like a lot of times back in the day, me and my family would take my mom and dad out to dinner on Mother's Day or whatever. And you know, I think that that can be alleviated if the men would cook. But you know,
Are you cleaning the stove? What are you got on gloves? What are you doing?
I am making my dinner, which is going to be meatloaf. So I've got to mix it with my
Okay. All
yeah.
right, cool. I saw that. Okay, I'll take, okay, four people going out to eat. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Anybody else? But I'm still coming back to the man in the wild. Do not go nowhere. We wrapping up with that.
Yes, I have bought my mom designer purses.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay. Okay. One
that's a
coach
good gift.
person. Where are we at? Okay, that's good. Okay. All right. All right. Anybody else? On average, two. Okay. All right. So we made, okay. So that's half the people. Okay. That's statistically correct. All right. Thank you. Because a good coach, a good purse. Yeah. You, thank you. All right. That's fair. Um, the most popular gifts include greeting cards, flowers, and special outings like brunch or dinner. Okay. Jewelry purchases for Mother's Day have grown significantly, reaching over 7 billion in sales. Celebration trends. More than 84% of US adults celebrate Mother's Day. About 49% of the people buy gifts for their mothers or stepmothers, while others also shop for grandmothers, wives, daughters, and sisters, what Carol was talking about. Phone calls increased by over 37% on Mother's Day, making it one of the busiest phone traffic days. Global perspective. Mother's Day is celebrated in more than 50 countries worldwide through different dates. The US celebrates it on the second Sunday in May, a tradition since 1914. The tradition of Mother Day flowers symbolize admiration and gratitude. Okay, so this is the question. This is the quiz question. Between all the holidays, on a scale of 1 to 8, where does Mother's Day rate? So is it number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 8? And I'm going to list the holidays. So between Halloween, Easter, Independence Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Valentine's Day. Between 1 to 8, where does Valentine's Day rate? So is it the top number 1 holiday, second, third, fourth, or eighth?
You mean Mother's Day?
Yes. What did I say?
Valentine's Day.
Mother's Day. Is Mother's Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 8? So these are all the different holidays. Christmas, Independence Day, Thanksgiving, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day. Is Mother's Day number 1 through 8? Which one is it?
And how are we ranking this? By how hard it is? By like how much we like the holiday? Like what's the ranking?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I'm like,
It says
Mother's Day is every day.
Based on the percentage of people who celebrate Mother's Day,
Okay, gotcha.
is one of the top holidays. So between 1 to 8, where is it on the scale of the holidays?
3.
Well, I would say number 1 then.
I think
All right.
Christmas is more, and I think Halloween is more, or Thanksgiving is more. Christmas and Thanksgiving are more, but then number 3 would be Mother's Day, I think.
All right, we got 20 people. I need 20 answers. You just got to put 1 through 8. No major commitment. I won't call you out. What'd you say, Carol?
I would say it's probably 3 or 4. I mean, yes, I feel appreciated on Mother's Day, but to me, it should be more important, but it's not. That makes sense.
Yeah, like Teachers Appreciation Day should be more than Super Bowl to me. Yeah.
But I have to say I like it better than Independence Day. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, that's just fireworks and hot dogs. I mean, I don't know if I like it that much.
And I don't even like hot dogs like that. Alrighty, I think everybody literally responded. I'm proud of you guys. Thank you so much. 1 through 8. Okay. Independence Day is number 8.
Okay.
Easter is number 7.
Okay.
Halloween, number 6.
Wow, that surprises me.
Right? Valentine's Day, number 5.
Oh, that surprises me.
I thought they would spend more money on that, but okay, I digress. Number 4 is Father's Day. Number 3, Mother's Day. Number 2 is Thanksgiving, and number 1 is Christmas. I'm trying to do better on having statistical information. I know, dang it. It was pretty close, though. It was pretty close. Now, that's the ranking of those days. This part, I'm going to save to after. The next thing we're going to hear about how much money people spend per the holidays. Thank you so much. And wait till you hear these numbers between all the holidays, how much money people spend. Carol, I want to circle back to something you said about your faith and grief in the passing of loved ones. Because grief has become one of the things that will knock people out of the box as far as their grief. How has that not been? Thank you so much, Ray J. How has that been for you compared based on what you just said?
You know, I think okay, I was raised in a Christian home, but I didn't always put God first in my life.
Okay.
And say that. Um, but I think I was mad at God. I mean, I was mad when Kurt passed. I was my last husband. Don't get me wrong. I was mad at God, but that didn't last long. And it was like, okay, God, you know better than me what your plan is.
Mm,
And I just took that in stride, and I just leaned on Him.
okay.
And because with my mom, I mean, she was 90, so I mean, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't. I was never mad at God at that time because I knew my mom was ready to go. She was ready to go to heaven. She was ready to be with God. She was happy. She was, you know, and so that wasn't a thing for me. When I lost my son, um, if I wouldn't have had God, I don't think I'd be here today.
Okay.
I will just tell you that much because um, that was hard,
And it's still hard now.
so hard. I mean, I mean, I was sitting in the eye clinic today of all places, and just thinking about, you know, different times in my life when I'd be taking my son to the clinic, or just going through my eye surgeries in the past with Kurt, my husband, and it's like, and now I'm alone,
Mm,
you know, because I might have another cornea transplant in a few months,
okay.
and and I think that's what it just brought me to, like, I'm alone. I mean, yes, I have my daughter, but it's still, I don't have my partner.
Right. It's different.
It's different, and it just today really kind of hit me. Well, not to least seeing that picture last night too did not help much. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and but today it was just like reminiscing in the clinic. It was crazy how I was reminiscing of all the things that I've gone through, and that I'm alone.
Thank you for sharing that. And I can relate to that. When I was going through my cancer diagnosis, my cancer treatment, um, just all of the different things, my husband was there. There were pictures like we would go to Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New Jersey, where I would have my treatment, and then there was a Panera Bread outside of there. So it became our routine that if we were going to an appointment, we would leave, like it was like an hour and a half to two from where we lived. That we would go to the appointment, and I'm about to say, Andrea, I'm like, I don't know why you dropping, like you got tea to spill. And um when I went back to a Panera Bread, it was just like wow. And like now I still have mammograms and things that I need to take and do. And when I went to go get a mammogram, and then they said they had an abnormal reading, and I had to go back, like, oh yeah, I was spun up like a kite. And hearing that without Mark, it just hit so much different. And it was just so hard. And even though Fred went with me, that kind of made me cry on top of everything else. Hey, Dave. And it was just like, wow, this, yeah, it doesn't stop. It shows up differently, but it does not stop at all as far as what it looks like. So I can relate to that in the idea as far as what that looks like, and how life just changes. It changes constantly on us in a situation that could be similar or different, but it just doesn't stay the same.
No, because Tom had cancer, my other late husband, so I can relate to all that too. It's like, yeah, that, and a lot of times he didn't want me to stay in the room. He was like, "You go shopping." I would get the groceries, necessities, and stuff when he was doing his treatments, because that's what he goes. I sleep anyway. You just go ahead and do your thing, because we had to drive an hour and a half to his appointments and to his
Wow.
treatment.
Andrea, do you need to go? I'm sorry. Hey, Liz.
No, I'm okay. My
Mm.
dad called me, so my
Oh,
dad is in bed by
absolutely.
eight
Right.
o'clock. And but he was being a good boomer dad and telling me not to worry if I saw his location at the hospital, that it wasn't him. He was going there because his brother just got taken in an ambulance. So, but like if I see my dad call, like I'm like, oh, I gotta answer right now. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but I will say that that's a thing that has happened in our families, like collective trauma. I'm very fortunate that even though we're not geographically close, that we are close emotionally. And the thing, like my daughter is really, because like I have two dead husbands, and a deceased mom. Like we've been through some things, okay? And my daughter, who works in aviation, every time there's like a plane crash or something like that, she will text me and say, "It's not me. It's none of the people we know." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." Like before you see it on the news, or, I will text my daughter, because I get my therapy at Mayo Clinic, which is where my husband passed away. And I
Mm.
will say, "I've got a therapy appointment. I'm not in the hospital." Like we do that a lot. So he was just calling to say, "I'm on my way to the hospital. They took my brother, so hopefully my uncle is okay." But it was just my dad calling me to say, "It's not me. If you see my location at the hospital, I'm okay." I'm okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, thanks for coming up. So just so you know, Andrea, I'm gonna let Michelle share. I'm gonna give these statistics, and then we want to hear about the wild. Okay, just so you know. Okay, go ahead.
We
Go ahead,
definitely want to
Michelle.
hear about that.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Um, so my grief has been weird this week, or last week, I guess is really when it
If there's
was.
a normal grief, do tell.
Well, my my daughter, who is 25, one of her high school friends' dad just dropped dead of a heart attack last week, and
Mm.
I cooked a bunch of food for him, went to the funeral home, and her friend said something to me that has just stuck. I can't get it out of my brain. She, they had this
Oh,
huge,
hold
so,
on one second. I'm sorry. We
okay.
need to say unalive instead of
Oh,
Oh,
DIED.
that's
sorry,
right. Yeah.
sorry,
Unalive.
sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But she said she had never been to a funeral, never experienced grief, never, none of this. And it made me start counting how many people not only I have lost, I mean, I've been in the room physically for six different people. And
Mm.
then my kids, um, the first big loss would be my sister, and my kids were 3 and 5, and it turned their world upside down because three of her five kids came to live with us.
Oh,
And
okay.
then they've left, then my kids lost on their dad's side three grandparents, an aunt. And on my side, they've lost two grandparents and an aunt. It was just so, it just feels like so much loss. And I
Right.
just started thinking, God, to think that she's 25 and had never been to a funeral, like to a funeral, kind of for a family member. Like
Wow.
she came when we had family members pass, but like she had never loved anyone that had died.
How
And
fortunate.
it just stopped me in my tracks because I was like, I have no clue what that's like. I was like 4 at my first funeral. So, yeah, so that just kind of threw me.
Mm,
4 at my first funeral. So, yeah, so that just kind of threw me.
mm,
Michelle, when you say that, I think a lot of times being on this app and how people like can react cluelessly sometimes, and in the wild too, people react cluelessly, and I'm like, don't you know anybody who has ever passed? And
Right?
no, they don't.
They
Sometimes they
don't.
don't.
And
Yeah.
it just shocked. But it, with me personally, my parents were 38 and 43 when I was born. So, like, the closest cousin, even in age to me, was 6 years. My sisters were 9 and 16 years older than me. So
mm.
for myself, I kind of expected it, but for it then to happen also so much on their dad's side, because his sister was 21 maybe when she died. So I mean,
Passed when she passed.
passed. Sorry, I don't get
That's
on
okay.
live much,
Mhm.
It's
but
okay.
yeah. So that's kind of just that one little comment has really stuck in my brain all week. So.
Mm. How? Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. How does Mother's Day and grief intersect for you?
Um, I would say it's hard because I was so extremely close to my mom. I mean, it it was the two of us against anybody, and losing her. I physically lost her twice because she had
Oh,
dementia when she passed away.
okay.
So I lost her one time, and then for a year and a half, we still had her body, but we didn't have her mind. And she just passed away about a week. It was 8 years ago, about a week ago. And
Okay.
so Mother's Day is hard because of all the stuff that you would love to be able to do. I see things online at Christmas time or different holidays, and all these families are playing games or doing TikTok trends with the grandparents. And it really hurts because I just think, wow, I wish my kids could still do that, or I wish we still had my parents here. So it's just hard.
Mm, thank you.
hmm
How does that impact your Mother's Day being a mom?
I really think it does, but I will say my kids are really, really good about celebrating me. So that's good. Not $275 worth of celebrating, but
Well, you have to pick someplace for dinner and let them know
right.
up that ante.
So, but I'm not gonna say anything. They really are good to me. So yeah. Because like at Christmas, they normally get together and decide what they're going to give. So I
Okay.
don't give them two separate lists. So this year I gave them the same list. I wanted a food processor and clothes, a couple of things. They both bought a damn food processor.
You got to take one back, right? Like you took one
Right.
back.
Yep.
Okay,
My
cool.
son, um, because Madison was wrapping it because I had picked hers out. Well, my son came in and brought his presents, and he set them down and goes, "Well, you're going to think this is funny in a few minutes." So, but
Obviously,
yeah,
they didn't communicate,
they
so
obviously did not know. So,
okay. Alrighty, well, thank you. That. Oh, what did you exchange the food processor for?
um, a new bag, a new purse.
Ooh,
Ooh,
ooh.
yeah. I'm
Nice.
I'm a bag whore for sure. So that's me. That's what.
I no. Go ahead.
No, that's just that's me. I- it's so bad that when Gabriel was a toddler, because a lot of times I'd get a new purse at work and swap it out. I couldn't get it by my ex husband because I would swear to you I'd go to pick them up and that child would go, "Did you get a new purse?" Like, how you're 3? How do you know I have a new purse? Like, how are you paying so much attention that you know I have a new purse? So,
That bears a question for sure, for sure. Alrighty, this is the statistics of Mother's Day is one of the most lucrative holidays, often
surpassing others in total spending. This blew my mind. I'm going to bring y'all in close for this one. Halloween, $12.2 billion. Father's Day, $22.2 billion. Easter, $24 billion. Valentine's Day, which I thought was going to be number one, is not. $25.9 billion. Hold on to yourself. Mother's Day, $35.7 billion. Back to school season, never thought that would be on the list. $135 billion. Number one, Christmas and holidays between November to December, $957 billion. Like, really? Okay. Well, thank you guys for everybody showing up. Let's get to this man in the wild thing. Like, the last video was like, what should I wear? Like, I want to know, what did we wear and what happened, like everything.
Um,
Turn your camera back on.
yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, real quick though, before I do that, can I plug our program on May 7th?
I thought you would.
So we have a live virtual event on May 7th. That's my nonprofit theater company. There's gonna be professional actors sort of in honor of facing grief on Mother's Day. And Tina has very graciously agreed to be part of the panel for that. So I hope that
You railroaded me in the podcast, like I can say no, but go ahead.
So I hope that some of you will be able to join. It's completely free. So
That's awesome.
I would love for you all to join us if possible. So please, it's Sapphire Theater, which is just like the gem, Sapphire, and then theater, THEATRE, like live theater, and it's not a movie theater.com. So, and you'll be able to find more information about it. And I'll be putting it on my TikTok too. So if you follow me, you'll see it.
I'll be putting out some advertisement when we get closer to it.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so I did go on a date.
Wait, Michelle had a question. Go
yes.
ahead.
I was just going to ask, where will if TikTok does go away on the 5th, where are y'all going to go? Like, where are you going to try and put your platform?
So,
YouTube,
So my platform, Widowhood Real Talk with Tina, is already across 6 different social media platforms. If you go to my bio, you can go to our webpage, and it shows all the different platforms we're on. And we also have a grief Discord where we go live in there. We had a movie night. We get together and chat. So if you're in that Discord, is open to anyone grieving. It's not exclusively for widows and widowers. So if you're interested in joining the Discord, you can message me, and I can connect you to the Discord. We have a confidential grief support group that's hosted twice a month that I host that on Zoom. So that is a fair question. So that's why I can only have the bandwidth of doing live once a week. I put out a weekly podcast that is on 15 different podcasting applications. All of our content has 4.3 million views across 111 countries. So
wow.
And Michelle, if you haven't caught it, I was on the podcast not too long ago. So
it was
I will have to
fabulous.
go listen. I will have to go listen.
Yeah, you can go to my YouTube page. Right there says Widowhood Real Talk with Tina, and then go to the playlist podcast, and you'll see the lovely Andrea there, which is getting a lot of views on her conversation. Fabulous.
All right.
But
yeah, so I did go on a date. I went just to I live my life, my grief life, on a series of small goals and small rewards. So I had kind of a cumbersome grief task that I had to do. It was paperwork related, with because it's only been 2 years. I should still be doing paperwork, right? Over various things, but and I had to actually physically take it to the post office because I had to do a traceable method and all that.
I just had some stuff like that. So 1942. Like,
I
why?
hate it. I hate it so much. And I've been putting it off for a couple months. And I told myself, okay, it was a beautiful day here in Northeast Florida. And if I go, I'll go to my favorite like bar and get a happy hour beverage on my way home because it's right by the post office. And I did. And I met a man who asked me out. And for those of you, Carol, I know saw the video because I saw Carol's video too, that she just went out on a really good date and looked fabulous. But my date was,
Yeah, one.
yeah, my date was just okay. I, the thing is, he definitely wants to see me again. I don't think I want to see him again, but that's okay. I mean, I didn't have a bad time or anything like that. I did find out though he was 12 years younger than me. 12. And I don't dye my hair and I have lots of gray and I talk about my adult daughter and my grandchild all the time. Like I know I don't really come off as my age, but it's not like I'm lying about it either. But anyway, so that happened. But you know what? That's fine. We're both adults. That's okay. I just don't think I'm really that into it. But I've been saying all of this time, all of you who've talked to me, that I'm not dating, I'm not interested in dating, I'm not going on date. Tina's nodding because she knows. Um, I'm not going on dates. I'm not interested, don't care. And I think I'm changing that though. I think
Oh,
I'm still not going to be searching for a person. I'm not going to be doing that. But I'm going to say instead of I'm not dating, I'm going to say I'm not prioritizing dating right now.
Oh, I'll accept that. I knew it was coming, but okay.
Yeah. Like I just, I'll be open because I met a man and had a nice conversation and he asked me out and I went. And that was fine. It was just fine. Like it was fine.
But what did
I
you
didn't have,
wear? The whole thing also, you were like, I don't have dating clothes. Like, what did
yeah.
I wanted to know that part. What did you wear?
Oh, so I did wear a really cute dress. It's kind of loud print. I'm kind of a loud I'm a like I think most people, I don't know, maybe I'm making a judgment, but I think most people going to the restaurant that I went to would wear maybe jeans or something. I don't own like regular clothes. I don't own like jeans and plain tops and stuff.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Rico,
Hi,
I was
Rico.
hey, thank you so much for the gift. Rico, on May 30th, I'm wanting to host an all men's panel talking about grief. So if you're able to join that, can you DM me, slide into my DMs, Rico, and tell me that you would be available May 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern time? I'm looking to have an all male panel. Count you in. Okay, cool. So message me because I need to email you. Like there's homework, dude. But message me because I need a headshot. And if you have any other men, and it can be any grief, it doesn't have to be widower grief. It could be, unfortunately, lost a job, child, how you feel about yourself. And I'm looking to have 8 men. So if you have anyone, Rico, you want to recommend, or ladies, if you have someone, let me know. But May 30th will be my goal to have a men's only grief conversation because the men was feeling some kind of way the other day. So I want to make sure that I'm giving them love. Uh, okay, so what did you wear?
Yeah.
The
So
loud
it was kind of a loud print dress, and no hate to Pastor Terry who said you're kind of a loud person. I know him in real life. He's my bestie from Indiana in real life. So
Just 2 questions, Rico. Everybody will have 2 questions. I just want to have a very robust conversation. I'm kind of proactive, so it'll be okay. But nothing major. Okay, go ahead. So loud in real life. Okay.
yeah, so I am, but he's one to talk. Uh, but but anyway, so I wore this, and I thought, my wardrobe. Brian loved my wardrobe. Like I would get dressed to go somewhere, and I would like look at myself in my loud print and my loud makeup and big hair and everything, and I'd be like, and I remember saying to him one time, "Is it too much?" And he said, "For whom? I thought you were going for too much." And I was like, "Yep, you're right. Thank you." um, yeah. So
You
anyway,
looked amazing. You
what?
looked amazing. You
Oh,
looked
So
thank
there's a
amazing.
video what she was wearing. Okay, I gotta go find it. Okay, I'm
Yes,
behind.
I did
Okay.
make a video afterwards, or I started the video while I was almost like a get ready with me, where I was showing my
Oh,
outfit, and then I updated it after. Um,
okay.
but I wore a dress that is me, because I'm like, you know what? If you don't want me, then all right, so be it. And honestly, I think that's the thing. I think this guy was a little too boring for me. I can't be with a boring man. Can't do it.
Okay.
So I mean, he was fine, but it just can't be with a boring man. So I need, and that's, I think, thank you for the gift. That's my thing is um, I am open. I'm not going to go on dating apps. That's not for me. I actually did try it, maybe a year or so ago. And I was like, oh, no. Oh. And I'm not going to go, like, I don't want to prioritize seeking out a partner. So I'm not going to do actions that would lead me. Like, when Gary died, I did prioritize seeking out a partner. Like, I really knew that I wanted to be remarried again. Um, and so I did. So that's not my priority right now, but I'm going to be
There we
open
go.
to what the universe holds. If I meet somebody and it's natural, then okay, I'll go out. Why not?
I can relate to that. I think during the podcast we talked about it. Like, if Fred left this world before me, if it comes my way again, but the intentionality of it is not in me. I mean, subject to change, but
Right.
this was a big leap after being with my husband to see if life could yield another amazing partner. And that happened. I feel like the odds may not be in my favor to, and
Correct.
so I don't want to be, because I'm thirsty and wind up with a hot mess. I'm just going to like catch flights and hang out with my sister who lives next door. But I did tell like my younger sister, like, if that happened, please know I do not have a playbook and it's hot garbage and you will be living with me. Like, I need you to understand. It's not going to be like, oh, she did this once, she'll be okay. No, trash, trash all day, all night, all day, all night. So yeah, so I can see that, because to give yourself twice to that and like intentionally like rolling the dice out there. Yeah, I could see that. Was
But
it?
also I want to say that I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it. I feel, I've had lightning strike twice, and it's a terrible, I'm mad at the world, and I think it's really unfair that this happened to me and to Carol, right? I think it's really terrible. And at the same time, I know that love can exist and be that great. Like,
That part.
even though
Yeah.
I didn't think it could, and I know that it can. So I'm not afraid of it either. So
Okay, random thought, maybe not so random. So I know a gentleman that is twice widowed. Do you guys know other people that are twice widowed that we should have a panel conversation on that?
I only know some from TikTok here. I do know a few from TikTok that I would invite.
Okay, if you can message me or send me them, we can, if they're so willing to have a conversation. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I know one in real life. I'll message her too. She is on TikTok, but yeah, I
Okay.
know her in real life. Yeah.
No, I don't. Um,
Okay.
and I think it was actually you. It was the first one I came across.
Carol,
That
you were
little,
one of my first two, and thank you for that. I really treasure that I know you, and I really admire you. Thank you.
likewise, likewise.
Sorry, but yes, grateful.
Oh, I am so, talking about dating after my last husband. I dated somebody like 4 months later, and he's the one that got me on TikTok.
Mm.
So I'm grateful for that. I mean, our relationship ended, but I tell you what, I don't know what I would have done without TikTok too. I really am grateful for it.
I could not
But
agree more.
it wasn't just God. It was TikTok too that saved my life.
And I'm not religious, so that's always a hard one for me. Is people are like, God and prayer and everything have saved my life, and I'm like, or I look forward to seeing them again in the afterlife, and I'm like, okay, I love that for you. That's not for that's not for
Right.
me, but it's hard.
And I think that that is what makes this even better. There is not this, you have to check this block and do it this way. It is the idea. All right, Tawana. I'm 1 minute. Oh, that's her telling me it's time for me to go to bed. Okay, I saw what that was. It's 9 o'clock. I got the hint. But this is not a you got to come this way space. The commonality is we lost a loved one. And as long as you're respectful and appreciative and value somebody else's situation, I think that's what the my intention in the space that I've tried to create. If we practice the same faith, that's fine too, but that is not a crutch to the situation because there are bigger things to think about. That the reality is we have a short amount of time to live our existence, and we need to make the best of what that looks like.
And I
And
agree with that because my daughter is not a believer. So I respect everybody wherever they are and whatever they do believe and don't believe. I give respect. I do not judge. I have I have no business to judge anybody because I've been through a lot of crap in my life. You know, I don't judge.
you know, and,
Absolutely.
and
I
so
accept who
Liz
they
says
are or where they're at.
also I also have to be delicate with religions that are not mine. Michelle, oh girl, you right in the box. Why am I reading what you're saying? I am not religious either. I get it. I mean, my faith in God makes me just more compassionate. It shouldn't be me trying to force it down somebody's throat. We're on this life journey together. And what that looks like for somebody else, my job, I feel like God is for me to support people in the most horrific moments of their life. And how dare I listen and I don't judge. Right there, mama. Girl, and why am I reading what you saying and you in the box, ma'am? What?
Well, that's because y'all were talking, but as y'all saying things, I think,
Hey,
different
Bonita.
things come to mind. So I just type it down as we go, because I was listening and I'm like, okay, 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 and then I was like, okay, well, we listen and we don't judge. And, because everybody's journey is theirs, everybody is held accountable for what they believe or don't believe. And I ain't got we don't have no heaven or hell to put anybody in. And, I think that that's important because we have to keep the main thing the main thing. Grief is grief, and that's the commonality that brings all of us together. And but those of us that do believe, God wants us to be able to help the ones that don't believe as well, because that's what serving is,
Yes.
you know and we have to just learn how to be able to serve and um not lose where we are, but still be able to be there, extend our hands and our help out to others. So, yeah. So I just felt that it was important, because I mean, I'm sitting right next to him, to twice a widow, and she said she don't believe, and I'm sitting here with the house of prayer badge up. So I didn't, I just felt like it was important for it to be known that no, I listen, but I don't judge. I hear,
Absolutely.
so yeah.
Yeah, and I think Andrea knows me well enough to know the circle I would keep of people that would be in that same perspective and know that it's a safe space. And I will definitely say, of all the things that I have spoken to people about in relation to the passing of a loved one, rocks their faith, their religious belief, that whole thing out of a box that literally oftentimes surprises the person themselves. And the people that just want to be dogmatic, judgmental, instead of just holding a space and loving them in their pain, I don't think they really see the real importance of the faith in the walk that they have and what that looks like if you can't be compassionate.
Well, I want to say this too. I'm not sure which, whether it was Carol or Twice a Widow that said that they were really angry with God. Okay, so I feel you because when I lost my son, Carol, I did not, I didn't, I was mad at everything and everybody because my son did not have to unalive. He did not. I was sick. I was sick during childbirth because they left the afterbirth in me. So there was nothing. I delivered a perfectly healthy son. And nobody took my son home when it was time for my son to be able to go home. And the hospital wanted to keep him because they still didn't know the afterbirth was in me till 5 days later. So they didn't know if he was going to come down with something or not. And so I was mad at my mom. I was mad at the baby's dad. I was mad at the world. And God too. You know, I feel you when your faith gets tested, um, pertaining to God, because you feel like, well, you're supposed to protect my child, and I get that. But I'm gonna tell you something that the Lord told me, and this is where my whole perspective changed. The Lord told me, because I finally, after being mad for so long, I finally just said, God, I'm mad at you. And I just hollered out and told him, how could you do me like this? Here I am being a police officer. We finding babies in trash on the doorsteps of the fire department. And you knew I wanted a son and you took him. I was so angry with God. And you know what God told me? I will never forget it like it was yesterday. And he said, I gave you what you asked for. I gave you a son. He said,
Okay,
but
Michelle, thank you. Bye bye.
I did not. But he said, who are you to tell me when I can call my children home? Everybody is on loan from me. And
Mm.
that hit me like a ton of bricks because you know what? He was absolutely 100% right. I only asked for a son. I didn't ask for how long to keep him. And and he is, we all from the time we're born, we know our birth date, but we don't know our unalive date.
Mm.
We all do have a number on us. So who am I? He was right. Who am I to say when you can call your child home? And that changed my whole perspective on everything pertaining to uh life and unalive. It really gave me a whole new outlook. And I stopped being mad at God. I stopped being mad at him, and I went from there to asking him to fix my heart. Help my heart heal because I felt like it was being ripped out my chest. And slowly and gradually, he healed it.
and I drew closer to him because I would start talking to him more. I started building that personal relationship with him. And and it was amazing because he let me know he didn't let me down. He don't choose all the things that happen to us, but he will allow some things to happen. Some things is because we all have numbers on us, and some things is because he needs us to grow. And since I lost my son, he has used me to help so many other mothers that have lost their children. And so I just look at it as, okay, Lord, if this is what you need to use me for, then use me. If I can be that servant to help other people, then so be it, you know. And I ain't gonna say that I still 100% understand, but I've learned to trust his will, his way, because he proved to me that he didn't let me down. And he didn't.
So, Mama,
But
let me ask you how you reconcile all the praying for something not to happen, all the hoping and feeling like you've been a good follower, all those things, and your person still leaves this world. How do you find peace or reconcile that, or how would you share that with someone who life is ripped apart inside out because of this, and just barely hanging on every day in that pain?
well, being as though I was right there in the center of that one, um, it's fairly easy for me to help somebody else through it because you know we do all know that when we're born, if we live long enough, we guaranteed to leave.
Mm.
Okay, so I started there first, and then I let a person know that when I'm praying, my prayer is always, if it's your will, Lord. Because people that have lost their loved ones, we don't know what the person that is leaving here, we don't know what their prayer was. Their prayer may have been to go, that they were tired. So if you got two people praying, whose prayer does God answer?
Mm.
When I started looking at it from that perspective, and so that's why I don't pray a prayer without it being in God's will, if that's in your will, because I do understand the difference in having all of our names are written in the Lamb's book, so if it's already written, it's already predestined. We don't know what it is, but he does. And
Mm.
things have to happen. I look at it and I will equate that to what's going on in our economy. It's the same thing. The things that are going on in our world today, in our wonderful Make America Great land, you know, things, things are, it's the same. It still all equates the same. All these things had to happen in order for us to get to the day that the Lord returns. And I know that might not make sense to some, and I'm not trying to talk politics because I'm not trying to be, against one thing or another as far as politics. But I'm just saying things have to happen according to what my Bible says. So these
Mm.
things that are happening are supposed to happen. We might not like it, but it is what it is, and we can't change that fact. So if we can't change that fact, then how can we just dismiss the fact that God can call us home when we want, whenever He chooses to? You know,
That's cool.
so
That
I
was
that's why I tie them all together, because not to make a point on a religion or a political stand, because I'm not that person. I don't worry about anything that's happening in our world today. You know why?
because I know who is the head of my life, and I have to be in accordance with the head of my life. That I know that I will be protected. From whatever is gonna happen with whatever the destination is as far as our world. So.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
When you said that, Mama, when you were saying, when you're talking about what, didn't know how long you had a son and you didn't know how long he was going to be there. I have to think back. My son was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor at the age of 10. So
Mhm.
we really didn't know how long he was going to live.
Mhm.
And even though it was a benign brain tumor, I mean, it can cause nasty stuff.
Yes, it
He
can.
had, he had multiple. I think I didn't count them, but I think he had like 9 surgeries in his
Mm.
life.
Wow.
So I mean, I am grateful for the time I had with him, but I should have died before him, or unalive,
Unalive.
unalive, unalive before him.
Yeah. I mean, I felt that same way. And I think most parents feel like our children are supposed to bury us. However, unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, look at all these people, all of the violence in the streets and the road rages and all of that. It's not that, you know, everybody wants to pick and choose to be mad at God.
Mm.
But God is not the author of hurt and pain and all of that. But there is a systematic thing that goes on that it's a process that has to happen. You know, the one thing that God did give us is that our babies go to heaven.
Mm.
So, everybody else is accountable for their own actions after they're a certain age. So it's up to each individual on how their life is going to play out. I don't care what we're born into. It's up to us how we change the narrative on it. So I, you know, I hope that answered your question.
Hey, Faye. Boniface.
How are you?
You know,
Hey, Miss Bonnie.
Good
I'm gonna tell
evening. Good
you, my
evening.
oxy is hitting really good. My knee feel good, and I feel chill.
Okay. I'm glad.
I need to take
I'm
mine.
glad. I am so glad. It is so empowering to hear everybody's story. And I want to tell all of you
Hey,
that,
honeybee.
the moments that you take to share your story with others is empowering because at there was a point in my life in 1991 where I thought it felt like I was the only one who had lost a daughter. And um, I lost her in an apartment fire,
Mm.
right? And life became full circle. I lost her in March. Um, in turn, lost my husband in March. Um,
Mm.
2 days before my daughter's 23rd birthday, on the 25th of March. Lost the brother in law the same day I lost the daughter.
Wow.
And Sunday, I lost my brother in law. So I said all that to say this. I listened to your stories. I listened to the love, the pain, and the laughter behind. I know that there was so much love that you had for these people, that you share these stories with such vividness and such compassion. And that's what helps me to push through everything that I've had to go through these past 4 years, losing my husband from cancer. pushing through and getting through is the love that we shared 31 years. I can never forget how much he loved and adored me. And to be able to smell the roses through that 31 years, it wasn't all apples and oranges. It was marriage. It was work. But at the end of the day, when you love someone and you don't have them, there are so many steps you have to go through. In fact, I don't even know how to use an alarm clock. I'm 55 years old. He always did it. So I never had to worry about it. I never had to worry about getting up because he would get me up. He had me so spoiled till there was a lot of things I didn't have to do. Gas in the car and normal things that women do every single day. But I've had to learn to do those things. And then in the midst of my tears, I can smile and say, man, God gave me a love like no other. I won't try to replace it, God. You gave me a daughter like no other. I won't try to replace it, God. I won't ever forget it either. That you allowed me the time with that person and made me their mom. You made me their mom for a reason. You made me his wife for a reason. You made me live through March every year for a reason, even though I'm scared every year. And now that it's happened again on Sunday, I had to just stop and cry and say, God, just give me out of March.
Oh, we
let
almost
me,
there, girl. We are
you know,
close.
let me have some joy in it. And then I'm reminded there is joy. There's joy in everything that you do. When I gave you breath this morning, that was joy. I gave you the power to keep moving forward and to share your story with somebody that may not understand. I moved back from Florida 4 years ago, and I work on the same street I lost my child. Never even realizing it. I walked out to the corner one day and say, oh my gosh, this school is built on the same street I lost my kid. So everything comes full circle. So I thank you for sharing. I thank you for having this panel. I thank you for being able to come across it. Some people who understand what it feels. But in loss, there is a lot of gain too. Because if life doesn't bring you clarity through some of it, then keep living. Because you're going to be able to help someone when you share something that you've been through and still see the beauty in it. Still look back and laugh on the love that it brought. Yeah. It's important. And their lives will never be lost because they loved you. Unequivocally loved you for no reason at all. Powerful. And the person who gave them to you loved you as well. Yeah. Thank you for letting me share.
You are welcome, and I'm going to say goodnight. I don't think there's anything else to say after that. Thank you, Bonnie, for sharing. Good night, everybody.